In today's socially connected and fast-paced world, you will want to succeed and stand out from the competition. Your host, Jonathan Butler, is an award-winning chef, restaurateur, and author, and is known for shaking up the everyday within our highly competitive industry. Welcome to the Disruptive Restaurateur podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Disruptive Restaurateur. I'm John Butler, and today I'm talking to Max Kotin, who is the chief storyteller for Dodo Pizza. Hi Max, how are we doing?
Oh, hi Jonathan, I'm doing great.
Yeah,
how are you?
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, it's been a while since we met, because we met back in February. Lots happened since then.
Different world. Right?
Because we saw each other in Amsterdam at the Global Restaurant Investors Forum. And obviously that's where we first met, and you sort of told me a bit about Dodo Pizza then, and I'll be honest, prior to that hadn't really kind of come across you much, I don't think, probably because I'm in the UK, and I suppose you guys started out in Russia. You are in the UK now, but tell us a bit about the background to Dodo, and then we'll sort of talk about, sort of how you guys are a little bit disruptive, to say the least, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah. Okay, yeah, so Dodo Pizza is essentially a digital-first pizza franchise, and we like to think that it's one of the fastest-growing, not only pizza brands, but QSR brands in general in the world, probably in Europe for sure, because the company was founded only in 2011. And less than 10 years later, we have more than 600 units in 13 countries right now. Essentially, we are from Russia. 90% of our business is currently in Russia, but we also are in the UK, in China. We are in Europe. We are very successful in the Baltic states. This year, we are launching in Germany. We are also in Nigeria. We have a very successful branch in Nigeria. We also, when I say digital first, it's not just a buzzword for us. Since day one, we've been developing our own IT platform. We currently have a team of more than 100 software engineers and analytics who work on this platform. And it's deeply integrated with our management system, with our business, and we don't deploy third-party tech solutions as many other QSR chains do.
And I think that's obviously that is obviously really quite key to you guys, because obviously I suppose the first question is when you kind of sort of explain so, you say you're a digital pizza company, and that's quite, you're straight away, you're sort of like, well, we're not a pizza business, you are essentially more, I suppose, a software business over a pizza. What comes first, the pizza or the software,
I'd say that they are equal. There are companies that, there are brands that see benefit in presenting themselves like they are tech companies instead of being like, I don't know, real estate company, instead of being a bank, or instead of being whatever, right? And because it drives their evaluation, and you can play this game to some extent, but at some point it becomes dangerous, I think. We are like 50% retail company, 50% tech company, and you can say that, and this is our advantage. Some people actually don't get it, and but for example, when we do our fundraising thing, and some investors, they are okay, you have too much of a retail side. Yeah, I don't like it because I invest only 100% software companies. Or others say, okay, I don't get it. You are a retail company, you are a QSR chain, and you operate all your stores, but you have like 100 software engineers. What for? And so people sometimes don't get it, but for us it's essential that we have expertise in both in tech and in retail.
Yeah. And why, I suppose, like I say, a lot of people would ask, why is that? Why do you, why don't you just, obviously open up a pizza chain, or a pizza unit, and bring in, tech that's already out there, so that be obviously EPOS systems and online ordering systems, apps, and obviously you can buy it all third party and bring it in. But why go through through the trouble of developing it yourself?
Because we think that tech gives you a competitive advantage in this current world, and I think that this pandemic showed it like 100%. That if you have your own digital platform and if you have your own apps and websites and all the other things that you need to have to effectively communicate with quarantined customers, right? It's very important that it's your goal. And also, and on the back of the house side, tech is very essential to drive down the cost and to manage your chain properly, and so on and so on. And of course, you can employ third-party solutions, but there is some limitations to this approach, and because there is always some struggle with implementing it, with pairing it with your management system and with everything else. Also, there is this pain of putting together a lot of, like, this is a patchwork of different solutions. Yeah. This is for post, this is for this is for third-party delivery, this is for delivery, this is for drivers, this is for website, this is for your app, and you will have you will spend a lot of time and energy and essentially money trying to put everything together. And I always, to explain it like shortly, I always say that, okay, there is Microsoft and all these hardware companies that make laptops and computers and everything. And there is Apple. And Apple makes software and hardware, and they put it together, and it results in amazing customer experience because they control. And this synergy of software and hardware, and because they control it and they can change one thing to benefit another thing, and they can change software to benefit hardware, and they can change hardware to and that's the same. That's our approach as well. So we want our system to be deeply integrated with our management system, and we want our software engineers to go to the shops, to come there and work in real pizzerias, and they do that, and see how can all this business, how it can be improved with tech. And so our idea is that you don't need to just digitize your processes. You need to rethink your processes from the ground up. And this is only possible when you have this expertise in-house, not when you resort to some external help and try to implement it and to squeeze it into your business. That's
for you guys. It's about developing that bespoke, solution rather than, like I say, trying to find something and then make that work. We are more about thinking, okay, all these amazing opportunities, the internet, the instant reports, and everything, and laptops, and tablets, and apps, and everything. How can we use all these things to improve customer experience, to improve operations, to make our employees happier, team members, and everything? And how can we rethink all these like century old, I don't know, this industry that is how old, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I suppose if you take actual, the internet, it's only sort of 25 years, isn't it? So it was only like the mid-90s that kind of came to sort of fruition as we kind of know it today. But so when Fidel sort of set it all up, was his thing, what was it? He opened a unit with that in mind, or was it he opened a unit and then realised that the tech wasn't up to the job? No, which way round did that kind of come?
Yeah, it was the vision of the founder. His name is Fyodor Ovchinnikov, and this was the vision from the very beginning. Sorry, let's make a pause. I have like.
That's right. There we go. Yeah. So Fyodor saw it. So what is it? He kind of saw this as what he needed right from the very start.
Yeah, this was his vision, and he started developing the system right when he opened his first unit. It was a little bit insane. It was a huge bet for him as an entrepreneur because he only had one pizza per delivery only, small pizza shop, like 600 meter in a basement, no dining area, just a small space. And he hired 2 software engineers to develop this marvelous system he envisioned.
Yeah.
And so that was from the beginning.
Right from the beginning, yeah. And that is quite a vision, isn't it? Because that isn't sort of like, most people would kind of, I suppose, open up a 2 or 3 stores and then go, actually, what I've got isn't the right solution, and I need to develop something that's better. So he kind of almost did it the other way around. Yeah,
because basically from the very beginning, he thought that he didn't want to open 1 store or 2 stores or 3 stores. He had the vision of building a big business, like an international chain. And it's lots of people. Well, some people have this vision when they start a business, and they rarely see their visions come true. But here we have a case when this vision was there from the beginning, and now we have an international company.
And obviously, when you grow that quickly, from like 1 to, like say, over 600 in 9 years, a lot of companies would find that, pretty difficult and challenging. Obviously, how have you found it with Dodo?
Of course, we find it challenging, but we like challenges. We love challenges, and but these challenges are manageable. And it's worth mentioning that we are scaling through franchising. It's always faster than building your own company-owned chain, because.
But franchising brings its obviously its own difficulties in the fact that you've got to keep consistencies. Because obviously the minute you franchise something out, they've got to obviously deliver your branding, and your product, but through obviously it's them doing it. So there's for me, I'd say there's even a bit more of a risk and challenge in that, as because you're not managing that process yourselves.
Yeah, of course, but I hear that often. But on the other hand, I say that what is there the best, the very best QSR brand in the world?
Well, what is it? No, well, it'd be McDonald's, I suppose. You'd say McDonald's, yeah.
Yeah, it's McDonald's. It's like you can't compete with them in consistency of their and quality of their product and consistency of this product. Yeah. And it's a franchise, right? Yeah. So it can be done. And so how we are doing it, there are 2 key elements. First, we've been very picky in who we are partnering with. Mm-hmm. And for example, we've never been in the business of just selling our franchise. We've never been to franchise shows or any other traditional ways of attracting franchisees. Yeah. We always wanted to partner with real and true entrepreneurs who are very passionate about our brand, about our values, and sometimes they didn't have even enough money, and we helped them a lot. And but we all grew together. So there are lots of cases in our history when like a guy who sold his, I don't know, apartment to finance his first unit, and he had to like moonlight as a driver because he couldn't finish and he was building this shop himself, and now these partners, they have like a dozen of units and have a pretty decent business within our system. And so it's one part of the answer. Another part is that we employed all the benefits of the internet and to build a system of quality assurance that is that will guarantee and secure this consistency in our product. For example, we now have like one of the most sophisticated quality control system in our home market, and lots of even international companies like global established brands, they study it right now, because every shop in Russia is we check it up two times a week with mystery shoppers. We hire all the mystery shoppers online, so it's like with let's do the math. 500 units, more than 500 units only in Russia.
Yep.
2 checkups it equals like 1,000 checkups a week, right? Equals 4,000 checkups a month, and so every mystery shopper has a checklist of I don't know how many bullet points, like 100 or something, and so on and so on. And this is, we hire them online, we train them online, and this whole system is managed by a handful of managers in our office, and it's one of the most sophisticated system of quality control. And and now we are bringing it to a new level, and we are using reviews in our app because around 60-70% of all the orders for delivery, they come through the app. And so basically when you get the order, you are prompted to rate your order. And these rates that customers leave, it's like the most important metric for us right now, because mystery shoppers check do these checks two times a week, but customers leave like dozens of reviews every day. And so using this to control the quality across the chain and do it even better.
And do you think the fact that you've got your system, obviously you have this software running your business, that obviously, like I say, you've developed and controlled, do you think that has alleviated what other operators go through your sort of growth would come across? Do you think you've obviously you've probably come across challenges, and we'll probably cover some of them in a minute, because I read your LinkedIn posts. But it's when you as I said, a lot of companies that go through growth like yours and really come up against a lot of problems, whereas I don't, obviously you guys have come up against challenges, but I'll probably say you may have come up less because of this software system you got in place.
I think that in terms of speed of growth, actually the system brings you more trouble than it helps you to grow, because you have to scale not only your business system, but you also have to scale your tech system, right? And I think that for us, what was more important, that our culture, that is the most important thing for if you want to grow successfully. Culture is like the first thing you have to think about. A culture, it's about who you hire, how you train them, what values they share, and so on and so on. And because we are a very entrepreneurial company, and we are a very ambitious company, and hardworking, and very agile, and we do a lot of things differently, not like people used to doing it.
So how do you bring that culture in there? How do you manage that process?
Basically, I think that if you ask about our history, it was like a natural process of hiring the right people and then figuring out what makes us successful, and then trying to institutionalize it, right? To turn it into some rules and values and put it on paper and so on. Right now, we are in the process of actually growing into a mature corporation, and our challenge is to preserve this entrepreneurial culture, because right now we have more than 300 team members in the managing company, which is a big number. Overall, if you count all the franchisees and their team members, we employ more than 20,000 people. But if we talk about just the managing company, it's 300. Still, it's a lot, and there are lots of people already who I don't know and who I have never met personally. So this is challenging, and we just try to preserve our entrepreneurial spirit. That's the main goal, probably. And the values are very important, and we can talk about them as well. But lots of companies, lots of brands, and lots of leaders say that they have some values, but sometimes it's just like
words.
Just words, right? And we do have values, and some of them are not very unorthodox, and so you have to share them to work with us. If you share, if it's a fit, usually it's a success for both parties, for our suppliers, or for our employees, or for our investors, or for our franchisees.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, we're one thing that when we talk about challenges, you found the UK a bit of a challenge from you put 2 or 3 posts on LinkedIn, sort of I read those. What have you found difficult about the UK market then in comparison to obviously the Russian and Eastern European markets?
It's obvious. It's the competition, first of all, and also it's not our home. It's hard for us to figure out how to work here, and so we always had the ambition to build a global company, a global brand, and for us as a Russian company, Russian-born company, it has a special meaning because there are lots of US companies that are like global companies. We all know them. There are a number of UK companies that are also global companies and have like a very big international footprint, right? And there are some companies from Europe that are very successful globally, but especially if you look at the consumer part of the market, like consumer brands, it's never been done from Russia. So you don't know, there is no company coming from Russia that sells you coffee or feeds you pizza or sells you cars or anything like that. And our ambition is to be like the first global company born in Russia. And this is very important. It's our mission. It's one of our missions. And it's what drives a lot of people to show that it can be done. So we always had this ambition to build a global company, but for many years we didn't have actually enough resources to do that because we were like on this crazy growth ride. And but there were certain entrepreneurs all over the world who wanted to partner with us and assume the risks of launching Dodo Pizza in their countries where they were living. And one of them lived in the UK, and a few years ago, he approached us and said, okay, I believe in the brand. I want to try bring Dodo Pizza to the UK. He launched in Brighton. It wasn't a success. And he was looking at our success in Oxford, Mississippi, in the US, when we have a unit, and very successful from the first year of operation. And he was like thinking that would be his blueprint for Brighton. but it didn't work exactly as well in Oxford, Mississippi. And but at some point, we realized that we want to double down on the UK because it's one of the largest market, pizza market in Europe. And we see that there is some demand for a new player in the pizza sector, and also there is a lot at stake. If you crack this market, you can build a very big chain. And so we decided to enter this market with our company-owned stores and manage it directly. As well as the same decision we made about China. We are growing our company-owned chain there. The rest of the world, except for Russia, is like master franchisees or just franchisees that are developing these regions. But these two markets, UK and China, are like primary markets for us. So we started to build a team for the UK and to try to figure out how we can work here. And for the last year, we've been working hard to revive the first unit. We also opened a few three new franchise units in Midlands, and we've had some success. So we basically doubled the sales of Brighton, and this year we brought all the units to some profitability that is like can be said it's an okay level of profitability, but we can say that it's a resounding success that we on this type of performance we can build a very big chain, and that prospective franchisee partners from all over the UK are like lining up to get a franchise from us. It's not like that, so this is a challenge, and that's the result we've got so far, and we have a plan how to change things and to.
I think what I've noticed is you're not afraid to kind of test and like you say adapt, to those challenges. It's not like you tried it didn't work, you pulled out. You've like you say, you kind of looked at it and gone, okay, maybe we have to just be a little bit different. And I suppose that is the benefit of a company like yours over a larger corporation at this stage.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with our entrepreneurial origins and our entrepreneurial spirit. It's basically how businesses are built, right? You try things, and if they don't work out, you change and you adapt and you try new things. And also, it has a lot to do with our with the IT part of our company, because it's like fail fast, right? It's the motto of Silicon Valley, basically. Okay, try things, launch a minimum viable product, see if it works. If it doesn't work, change something quickly, be agile and adapt quickly. That's in our culture as well. So, and if something doesn't work out, we just we don't get discouraged. We just try to figure out what can we do to adapt to the situation. Luckily, we are right now at the stage where we have resources and we can allow ourselves some time to figure out things, because first years it was like more about survival. We just had to survive, and we had to count every dollar. And now we are a mature company. We have our home market, like 90% of our business, and we are number one in Russia. We have more units than Papa John's, Domino's, and the third local player combined in terms of if you count pizza brands in Russia. So we feel like our home market is pretty much secured. We are not relaxed about it. We keep our eyes on the ball, but still we have this opportunity to try out new things in other markets. and not to be discouraged when we don't have a success from the beginning. Though in some parts of the world we do have success from the beginning, like for example in Nigeria, it's very successful. In the Baltic states, our stores are like just they are always in top like 20 in terms of sales, and also we launched in Slovenia, and this unit is also very successful. So yeah, but in the UK, so far not a resounding success. Okay, yeah, we'll figure it out. We have a plan.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Well, I'd say that's what I've kind of noticed as we sort of, as your sort of posts have come up and sort of through, sort of been reading them, and I found it quite interesting that you're willing to sort of, make these changes and develop and trial and error and see what works, what doesn't, and you'll find that formula as you move forward. Obviously, one thing as you're sort of talking there, you talk about being a Russian company and everything else. Obviously, Dodo Pizza is sort of saying to me Russian, so it's kind of I suppose it's not you automatically look at that and think that's a Russian company, do you? So I can't see that being a as if that's an issue. I think for you guys it's just building the growth, isn't it?
Well, the name was chosen basically just because of that. We wanted something that can be don't need to be translated in other languages. In Dodo, the bird is one of the rare words that are the same in many languages. Dodo is Dodo in Russian, Dodo is Dodo in English, and in many other languages. It's simple and it's funny and it's easy to remember. But in terms of branding, we don't want to be perceived as a Russian company, and we don't see why it should be important for customers. We are a global company, and all our partners, for example, in the UK, they are locals, and they do business, they pay taxes there, and so. That's not the idea that we want to build a Russian brand. We just understand that we are a Russian-born company, and for the B2B audience, for our investors, partners, and they perceive us as a Russian-born company. That's the idea.
So, how have you found, obviously, for your business? How has obviously this year been? Obviously, with the lockdowns, and has that benefited you? With obviously being tech driven. Your business, are they all cashless as well? Do you?
We do cashless in China.
You do cashless in China.
Yeah. And but all over so in other countries, you can pay with cash.
You do pay cash well, but obviously have you seen growth through the lockdowns, or have you sort of seen it plateau, or has it dropped?
If you compare us to, for example, Papa John's or Domino's, our dine-in leg is much more developed. We have a full-scale dine-in cafes in most of our pizza shops. So it's not like just a takeaway where you go to grab your pizza and just want to get out as fast as possible because it's designed for you not to enjoy this experience, right? Because we have like very fancy interiors, and there is Wi-Fi, there is you can charge your phone, and there are sofas and chairs and everything. And so we had 60% of our business coming from delivery, and 40% of our business coming from dining. And also we were basically, when the pandemic hit, we were in the middle of rethinking our dining, because we thought that it was underperforming, and we wanted to drive it and to have like a 50-50 proportion, right? And so we lost 40% of our business just like that, and it was tough. But on the other hand, we had a leg to stand on in delivery, and we had also our own digital products like mobile apps, and we don't work with delivery aggregators in Russia.
No.
And so we own our customers, and we can directly reach them, and this is very important as well. And so basically, we introduced lots of innovations during the pandemic. For example, we've been talking about introducing drinks for delivery for a year, and then we launched it in a matter of few days. And because yeah, we thought that okay, maybe in a year we would launch drinks for delivery, because there are lots of questions how to make it like sustainable, how to make it that the coffee delivers like in the right condition, and so on and so on. A lot of questions to figure out, especially on a scale when you have more than 500 units, right, across the entire country. We are not like in Moscow. We cover the entire country from Kaliningrad to the Far East, and some places are supplied with an icebreaker, because there's no other route to supply them. And that's our chain in Russia, our network, and so it's hard to like just roll out drinks. And but when the pandemic hit, we just basically we are doing it, and we are doing it like in a week, and in a matter of a few days we launched drinks. And so long story short, we boosted our sales, so we lost 20%, and then 20% we regained by driving up delivery. Okay. So we can't complain. Because lots of operators, they were like reduced to nothing because they didn't have anything, and if you don't have delivery set up before the pandemic, it's super challenging to venture into this field, and especially it's super challenging to make any profit on if you work through delivery aggregators. And so it can be your lifeline. Happily, we had delivery before, and so we used it to tide us over.
Yeah, and what are you finding now? Are you finding that are your sort of restaurants now sort of back open? In terms of people can come and sit in. Are you finding that that's working? Obviously, probably a bit different in Russia to the UK, because obviously we've got different restrictions and things like that. But are you finding that people are coming back in, or do you think going forward, delivery is going to become, maybe that metric that you talked about of 60-40, is it going to actually go maybe 70-30? Is it, is delivery going to sort of become more important, do you think, over the next sort of, maybe not in the long term, maybe not the 5 sort of 10-year period, but maybe certainly in the sort of next 2 to 3 years as we deal with, the overhang of the virus?
Right at the moment, we see that still dining sales haven't restored to the pre-pandemic levels, despite the fact that dining is open and there is no quarantine. And still, we will see the impact of the pandemic. First, we see that many people just choose to stay at home, and because they're concerned about getting sick. And on the other hand, the economic toll on the pandemic, we also see it, and it's hard to predict how hard the economy will be hit, but it will be. And so basically, essentially, people will have less money to spend. And but for us, it's different, because we always have a long-term vision. We plan for many years ahead, and since our survival is secured, we have the delivery, and so we choose to grow and to double down on delivery, obviously, because it's the only market that in the food service sector that still has some potential for growth. But we will be developing our dining concept as well. Actually, we just launched a new brand, Drink It. It's called Drink It, right?
Yeah.
And It's a coffee shop. It's a digital first. Everything we do, it's a digital first coffee shop, and it's 100% dine-in and takeaway. And still we are launching it. We see that at some point the pandemic will end. Or the virus dies on its own, as it happened before in our history, right? And or there will be a vaccine, or there will be a treatment. Anything, something will be. We'll figure it out, right? We as like the people, right? And so we think that right now is the time to think about what happens next. And dine-in will take time for dine-in to restore its numbers, but at some point it will.
Yeah. So obviously you mentioned Drink It there. The other thing you're developing as well is a kebab.
Yeah, Doner Kebab.
Doner Kebab as well.
Yeah, it's called Doner 42. That's two brands we are launching this year. Drinking has been launched already. Doner 42 will be launched probably in September. We are,
And is it the same sort of drive and focus for those brands that they won't obviously just be Russian based? They will be global as well. They're available, but you're going to be rolling that out globally as well.
Yeah, of course, everything we do, we want to do on a global scale. And of course, it's easier for us to launch a new concept in our home market, where we have like a very developed supply chain, where we know the customer well, and where we have lots of franchisee partners who are very successful and who trust us. And for example, there are lots of cases where when we have, like, for example, a partner in some city, and this partner has like 3 pizza shops, and there is no capacity for any more pizza shops. But if we introduce a coffee shop, he will gladly launch it in his city, because there is demand for coffee shops, and he can't fulfill it. And so we are launching it in Russia first, and then when we are confident in the model, in the product, and we start scaling globally. Through franchising.
Obviously, when you take coffee, which is a very, saturated market here in the UK. How are you going to compete on that basis? What's going to differentiate Drink It to, Costa, Starbucks, Coffee Number One, and all these sort of brands we've got here?
I have to say that in Russia, this market is as saturated as it is in the UK, maybe even more, because I don't know, at least in Moscow. In my opinion, I live in Berlin, and Moscow. So I lived in Moscow for many years. But now, when I come to Moscow from Berlin, I have a feeling that I am visiting like the capital of gastronomy, because there are so many cool, trendy concepts all over Moscow. It's changing so fast, and so it's fascinating. I say it not because I'm Russian, but I can be very critical of my homeland, but in this regard, Moscow is like one of the best cities. If you like to eat, Moscow is one of the best cities to be right now. So there are lots of concepts, you can buy coffee like at every corner. But we have our own vision, and it has a lot to do with digital ordering, and we want to drive mobile sales. And through a very easy to order mobile app, and you just on the go, you order your drink, and you come to the store, and it's already there. You just grab it and go, and it's as easy as that. And also in terms of the product, there is this term specialty coffee, right? And I just like to think that there is a new generation of coffee brands where lots of them, they're just one-store operations where they introduce you to a new level of coffee experience, which is when you try it, you won't opt for a like generic choice like these global companies that we all know, and we want to bring the same to introduce the same products, the same quality, but with the convenience of the most modern, well-developed, digital-first coffee shop. And I don't know if it fits the UK, but when we have the concept, when we are confident that it's well developed, and we'll have a huge variety of choice when it comes to what market should we enter. Should it be the UK? Should it be Africa? Should it be the Baltic states, or Asia, or the States, or Europe, Germany, France? I don't know. So we'll have time to think about it. But I think that this concept can be interesting for many markets, and the UK is included.
So what's the sort of plan now for you guys now? Is it just continued growth, just continued development? Is that just the plans now?
You mean for the group or for
for Dodo, for Drink It, for Donna 42, or what is it just sort of keep developing and growing?
Yeah, our long-term goal is IPO. We wanted to have it in I don't know 5-7 years maybe. For this we need to show real traction on the global scale. And if you try to like decompose it, right? And so to think about what we need to do. First, we want to solidify our leadership in Russia, in the neighboring countries. We are also number one pizza chain in Kazakhstan. It's a big market, like the second largest market. If you think about ex-Soviet countries.
Yep.
And also we are very successful in Belarus, and so we want to solidify our business there and to our leadership. So a year ago we were as big as 2 of our competitors. Now we are as big as 3 of our competitors. So we are on the right track, but we want to secure this position. And there are lots of things that should be done. Still, lots of jobs to be done because, for example, we haven't built a true national brand in Russia. We just started building it, but it's a long process. But we want to be a love mark in Russia, like I don't know, Starbucks. Globally, we want to be the best known QSR brand in Russia, and we want to just dominate the pizza space and maybe the QSR space. And here we start to compete with the big guys like McDonald's, KFC, and Burger King. Actually, we are the 4th largest QSR chain in Russia after that. So we are the only national brand that can compete with them. So lots of things to do. Globally, we have our focuses on the UK, as I mentioned. We need to launch a new concept that we are launching right now in Leamington Spa. And if it's a success, we will need to build a system to scale it through franchising, to launch new stores, and build a big branch in the UK. Also, a huge bet, an insane venture is China, because it's not the most obvious choice when it comes to pizza market, right? But there is a growing taste for pizza in China, and it's a huge market. And if we figure out how to win favor with the customer in China, it's a huge scale of our business, and it's lots of opportunities. So that's our second focus, or the first one for the founder. It's the first one because this is his pet project, China, and he's deeply involved in this. And
do you think you've got more I suppose with China, maybe this is where you got the advantage of being a Russian company, is obviously, they're a bit more against American companies. So maybe, there is that opportunity that you can kind of steal the march on, over your likes of your American,
I don't know. I think that American brands feel pretty well in China. They build a very successful business in Starbucks and other pizza brands, and so I don't think that people in China, especially, are against American brands. Okay, they may be unbiased against Russia, as some people might be in the West, but there are other challenges, like a totally different culture. We Russians think about ourselves as Europeans. Europeans may disagree, but still we are closer. But Asia is like a different world, and China is like a different universe. It's entirely different, and so we have to figure out. But we hire a lot of local team members, and we like try to. Basically, it's a different product, a different model, a different business model, different. So everything is different in China, and we try hard not to impose our brand and our processes and our product on China, but we try to figure out how our expertise, our product can fit, and what should we change in our product to fit the market, and that's how we're doing it.
Yeah, brilliant. So just I'd say it's fascinating. I can't believe we've been going for like nearly an hour. So yeah, finally, I suppose I was just going to say, clearly you are you guys yourselves are quite a disruptive brand, as we sort of already said. What do you think is for, not just for you guys as Dodo, but just sort of in general in this, over the next sort of 12, 18 months, 2 years, what do you think is going to be the most important thing for hospitality businesses to be getting right?
Well, it's a tough question. Because when you start to think how to answer it, you might come up with something like, I don't know, digitalization, like digital products or delivery. These things will be important, or safety. It's the obvious answer, because people are more concerned with safety. And I have to say, for example, that I don't know, coming from Russia, living in Germany, visiting other European countries. My impression that in general the QSR industry and restaurant industry can do a lot of work to improve its safety standards across Europe, because in Russia they are much more stricter. And I don't know. In Berlin, I always even during the pandemic, I see all the time how people deal with cash, and then they take a cone for ice cream. Then with the same bare hands, they just deal with cash, and they scoop the ice cream, put the ice cream on the cone, and give your kid it. Give it to your kid. And and I say, okay, it's you can't manage in Russia, because Russians are very concerned about safety and hygiene. And so, as well as in Asia, for example, they are also very conscious about these things. In Europe, nobody cares. And I've seen some of the dirtiest restaurant I've seen in my life was in the States. And it was a bizarre. It was like, I don't know. It was And but all this, having said all this. So there are digitalization, mobile experience, and safety, and delivery, and all these things. There is never one thing that you have to figure out. There is you have to keep your eye on all the balls. There are lots of them. Dozens. And it's soothing to think about there is this one silver bullet that will secure you the future, but there is not.
No.
So basically, you have to think about all these things. and a lot of other things that we haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah. No, and I think you're completely right. There's not just one thing that you can focus on these days, is there? There is, and I think that is, even more so now than maybe before, we went into the pandemic, because maybe before in the pandemic you could say, well, no, we're not going to worry about delivery and digital, because we are a standalone sit-in restaurant. But whereas now even those businesses are having to evolve and adapt and think more about, actually, maybe we do need to have delivery as an option. Maybe we do need to have this as an option. So I think there's, it is something that is now probably more than before, that actually you've got even more to think about than you did have sort of 5-6 months ago.
When it comes to delivery, I think that I'd love to see how it develops, because I have a feeling that this whole industry, it's a tipping point, right? Because as you mentioned, there are lots of restaurants that didn't bother with delivery before the pandemic. Now they're thinking about the delivery, or they've been working with delivery aggregators and they were they were content with the thought that, okay, just to support my business, I get my 80% sales from dine-in, and it doesn't bother me that I don't make any money on delivery. But now they're thinking, okay, I do need to make money on delivery, but how it's possible? And it's not possible when you go through aggregators in many cases.
No, totally agree. Yeah, I'm big against the aggregators, so I won't worry about it. I've never, I'll be honest, I've never, and this is what, again, I love the fact that you guys obviously don't use delivery aggregators, and I think because the fact is, from my perspective, I've never understood why you would go through all the trouble of creating your product, developing it, having it absolutely spot on and everything, and then you hand it to some guy on a bike who doesn't care, because they don't work for your business, they work for somebody else's. And I think that, to me, is the issue. Why you wouldn't go through, to me, I would not go through all that trouble just to hand it to somebody, because food is a particular type of product. It's not like, I develop a piece of plastic type product that I can give to a postman or something like that. Food isn't about that. Food is about the whole experience. And I think that's the sort of, just having it delivered through a guy on a bike isn't for me.
I think we have to be a little bit critical of ourselves, and what's the word? Our prejudices against certain things in life. For example, I can remember people saying, "Oh, I would never buy shoes on the internet because shoes. Okay, I can buy a T-shirt, but shoes, it can be done because I have to try them. It's because it's so important. I have so special foot, and it doesn't fit in every shoe, and so on and so on. But we know that shoes are sold online, and it's a growing business, and it's done already, right? And so food can be delivered, and can be delivered by anyone. The question is, do you want your food to be delivered by a third party or not? On what are the terms? Because that you can spoil the experience and the product is just one part of the problem. Another part of the problem is your finances, that you don't own the customer. And the whole point of our business is that you have the most important metrics is new customers and retention, right? Lifetime value of your customer. And you don't make any money on your new customer because it's very expensive to attract new customers. And you attract them through advertising, or you attract them through highly visible location, and you attract them through rent, right? So you attract the customer, you don't make any money on them, because basically sometimes you pay even to attract a customer. You pay this customer to try your product, and then you start to make some money if there is retention. And the customer returns to you in a month, or in 2 weeks, or in a week, and so on. And there is some lifetime value of a customer. But the greatest thing about aggregators. They want to cut, not to have a cut not from your new customers. They want to cut to have a cut from your returning customers. Every time they make a purchase, you don't own the customer, and it upsets the entire business model in the food service industry, because with delivery aggregators, every customer is new, and they because they switch all the time, and every customer is new, and you never make any money, and you can't build your customer base and loyalty. That's the greatest thing. And all this said, it's wondrous. It's interesting that those delivery aggregators, they are buying themselves, because they're not making any money too, right? And they have lots of troubles of their own. They are burning venture money, and on the promise that at some point they will figure out that the operations will be efficient, because they have the numbers to make these operations efficient. It's hard. And
Well, I think it's something. No. Well, like I say, I think there's loads more we could sort of talk about. But no, I think it's been really, really interesting. I love it. I love, seeing how you guys are developing and growing and everything that's sort of going on. So and I think obviously people can find you on LinkedIn if they're interested in following you a little bit. But thanks very much. Thanks, Max. It's been really, really, really interesting. So cheers for that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
No,
thanks,
brilliant.
Jonathan.